All right, hello, Matthias. Thanks for coming to the Creative Studio to have a very short interview about you, yourself, and the talk. May you introduce a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me here. I'm Matthias. I'm originally from Belgium, but living in Singapore now. And yeah, I'm very glad to be here at DevFest Hong Kong 2025 to share some of the latest thing I've done in the space on Google Cloud.
Can you give us a very brief introduction about your talk in DevFest Hong Kong today or this year?
Yeah, sure. So basically, as part of our user experience for our platform, we have a forum where people can come with questions for cloud architects like myself. And we have an LLM system in the background that extracts some metadata that is useful for routing these requests to different cloud architects, as well as retrieving technical details that we would ask to the customer in maybe a first interaction. And this all to speed up the mean time to resolution, as well as making it a bit easier for the customer to just type out the problem they have and not have to deal with filling out the whole form. So today my talk particularly was about adding a ticket type classification to that system, because we might want to have routing affected by that. And on the other side, not all tickets are about a particular resource, so not always we should be asking about technical details. We might just be routing for building a POC. So what I built for that is a new prompt, but I also wanted to explore structured prompt optimization with a library called DSPy. So for that, we gathered a lot of data, and we did structured prompt optimization with a few optimizers that are part of that package. But also, I tried to use some fine-tuning techniques, in particular LoRa, on some of the open models that Google has published that you might be familiar with, called Gemma, and kind of the journey that led towards a final performance of the system around 90%, which was reasonably good. Yeah, and I shared a few of the learnings along the way that hopefully people don't fall into the same pitfalls and rabbit holes that I did.
Yeah, and thanks for giving a talk at DevFest Hong Kong this year. First one is Hong Kong is currently focused on attracting and retaining high-caliber talent. From a GD perspective, what is Google's biggest advantage when, compared to the places, or making Hong Kong a particularly attractive place for top global developer to build their next major project in Hong Kong? Or maybe, what's your look and feel after joining the DevFest in Hong Kong this year?
Yeah, so there were a few good questions from the audience actually, and a few people came to talk to me after the talk as well, and I was actually impressed by how sharp and smart the people are and how well they're educated on the latest trends. Interesting enough, I took a few things away myself to take to my projects and maybe use myself. So I think definitely talent is one thing that Hong Kong, talent and education is probably one thing that Hong Kong has going for it. With that, I also assume, I'm not super familiar with the details, but there's a lot of finance activity into Hong Kong, so I'm assuming there is probably opportunities for funding. So if you want to do a startup and maybe get that angel investor or some VC funding, I think this might be a good place to start.
That's cool. And the next question is, in case there is a new tech creator in Hong Kong looking to maximize their reach, what type of content, what technical content, I would say, like Google related, so you will suggest to him or her to have the highest global amplification or maybe the reach for letting people know, while it's being deeply relevant to Google stuff and such?
So I think like a big part of the industry, or at least what I see a lot of our clients also do, is stuff in the agentic space. So not only getting textual answers from your LLM, but also letting the LLM actually execute stuff or do stuff. So particularly for Google technologies, I think relevant things to look at would be the Agent Developer Kit, so ADK, maybe Vertex AI if you want to take your agent and you maybe need some of Google's LLM power to deploy an LLM or just use Gemini out of the box. That would be probably the 2 technologies I would think about.
Yeah, to suggest to the tech content creators to let the local community to know more about Google technology, right? Okay, cool. And thanks for a question, and thanks for coming to the Creative Studio, and hope to see you very soon.